Hello, my name is Anniken and I've designed a new shawl called Ma Belle, and today I'm going to show you how to add beads to it. Now this shawl has beads in the main stitch pattern, and you can see it just dotted around, not too many beads, but it also has a really interesting bead detail on the edging. So the edging is consisted of these big yarn overs, they're triple yarn overs, and then the center of those triple yarn overs, the center stitch, has a bead. Can you see that there? And it looks really pretty, I think. So I'm going to show you how to add beads in general, and also how to work that triple yarn over and add a bead to the center stitch. So let's just put that shawl away. So I'm just going to show you on the pattern. This is what we're doing. So edging is the beginning of the row and the end. So either side of the rectangle there is an edging, and I'm going to work the last row of the edging on the right side of the shawl. So I have knitted part of the edging already. I've just, on this sample, I've just done the edging bit. I haven't knitted the whole stitch pattern, so I've just done the edging. And the edging consists of 12 rows that are repeated, and you can see I've added a bead there and there. So I'm now going to work the next row. This isn't a beading row, this is working the triple yarn over, so I'm going to show you that as well. So I'm going to slip the first stitch. Now please note I knit continental, so I hold the working yarn in my left hand. If you knit English, you can still do the same way, you just hold the yarn differently. So I'm going to slip the first stitch purlwise. Now you have to have the yarn at the front. What I actually do, because I knit continental, I put the needle under the yarn like that, put my finger on it, put it into the stitch purlwise, take it off, and now the working yarn is here. I just lift that over to the back. However you slip it, just make sure you slip it purlwise, you have the yarn at the front, and then before you knit the next stitch, you take the yarn between the needles to the back. Now the next stitch is a knit three together. So I'm going to knit 3 together. On the other side of the shawl, so this will be a beginning of the round. At the end of the round, when you do this edging, it would be mirrored. So you'll be doing SSSK. So it's like an SSK, but you add an extra slip stitch in there. If you haven't done SSK or SSSK before, don't worry, there are full instructions in the pattern. So I've now done a knit 3 together, and then I'm going to do 3 yarn overs. So I basically just wrap the yarn around the needle 3 times. So the continental ways, I go over, over, over. Now if you knit the English way, you would be doing it slightly differently. You'll be doing it over, over and over. Okay, so I'm going to undo that. Oops. That is the problem when you've only got one stitch. Right, so my whole knit 3 together disappeared. Okay, so as I took my hands off the needle, my needle fell out and my knit 3 together came undone. So I'm just going to knit the knit 3 together again, like that. Right, then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 yarn overs. And then I'm going to knit 3 together again. And then I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 yarn overs, and then I'm going to knit 3 together again. So like that, 1, 2, 3, and then I've just got 1 stitch at the end. Oops. So now I'm going to get ready for the next beaded row. Now when I add several beads, I tend to put several beads on my crochet hook in one go. Before I add the bead to the triple yarn over, I'm just going to show you how you would add bead to 1 stitch. So it's exactly the same. You just put the bead on the crochet hook. I'm going to take the extra beads off so it's not confusing. There we go. Put the bead on the crochet hook, lift the stitch up off purlwise, pinch it here, and if you've got stitches on the other needle, just pinch all that here. So you don't have to worry about your needle falling out or dropping any stitches or anything. Just pinch it here with your left thumb and index finger. let the stitch slip into the hook. Don't worry if the stitch pulls out and becomes bigger, that'll shrink back down again once you put it, once you knit it. Grab the bead, hold your hand on top of the crochet hook because you will have more control than if you hold your needle, your crochet hook like that. Hand on top, let the stitch slide into the hook. Hook should be pointing upwards. If it's pointing downwards, the stitch will just slide right off. So hook upwards, slide the stitch into the hook, grab the bead, try and hold the needles, the crochet hook, so that you can use both your index finger and your thumb to control the bead. Now I just push that bead, push that bead down onto the stitch. Push it down properly. Don't just push it kind of over that bump. Just push it down properly, and put the stitch back on your left hand needle, and then you just knit it like a normal stitch. Occasionally there may be times when you would purl it, but the pattern would tell you that. So now let's see how we add it to the triple yarn over. So I've actually put 3 beads on my crochet hook, which is, when I got a lot of beads to add, instead of putting 1 bead on the hook at a time, I usually just fill my hook up with as many beads as I can fit on it. I wouldn't recommend doing that when you're new to this technique. So I've now come to my triple yarn over. So I've got 3 loops on my needle. So the first one I'm going to knit through the back. Now it's very difficult to get in through the back here because it's kind of sitting quite tightly around the needle. So what I quite often do is I'll go in purlwise, then I'll just lift my right hand needle over the left hand needle, and then I'm through the back. Can you see that? Okay, so I'm going to knit that one through the back loop. Now the next one is the one I'm going to add the bead to. So I'm going to make sure I just add 1 bead though, not all 3. So lift it off, grab the bead, let it slide into the hook, hold it, everything else securely with your thumb and your index finger. Push the stitch, push the bead down onto the stitch, put the stitch back on your left hand needle, and then you're just going to knit it as normal. And then you've got the last bit of the yarn over left to do, and you're going to knit that bit through the back loop. Oops. That bit through the back loop, and then this one knit stitch, and then I'm on to my next triple yarn over. So the first one I'm going to knit through the back loop. Now all the extra yarn that's in that kind of yarn is just wound around your needle, so it isn't a proper stitch, and it's very difficult to get in through the back loop, especially on the first one. So what I do is I just put my needle purlwise in under that yarn, and then I just lift my right needle, I just slide it over the left needle so that my needle sticks out of the back, and then I knit that one. So now I'm going to put the bead on this one. So I've got the bead on my hook, lift the stitch off, slide the bead down onto the stitch and put it back and knit it, and then I'm going to knit the last loop through the back of the loop. So I got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then knit 1 more, and then I'm going to do it again. So the first one, because I can't get in through the back, you can also use your thumb and your finger to just pull the yarn down a bit here so you can get your needle in. Knit that one, and then I'm going to do so I pinch this all down here, lift the stitch off purlwise. Now did you see what happened there? As I pulled that stitch off, the last yarn over came off as well. So I had 2 yarn overs on my left hand needle and both came off. Don't worry, just put the bead on, put the stitch back on your left hand needle, and then knit it. And then we've lost that last yarn over, so all you do is you just lift up that loop, that yarn, and just put it over your needle, and that's it. So if you come along, and then we just knit that one through the back loop. So if you come along and you've only done 2 yarn overs, or you've done 4 yarn overs, or as you knit the yarn overs, or especially as you put a bead on, you pull the next yarn over off your needle, don't worry about it. All a yarn over is, if I just let that one go again, it's just a loop over your needle. So if you have 2 loops instead of 3, just make another one. There, I got 2. If you got 2 loops, if you got 4 loops and you only want 3, just take one off. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm going to knit this one through the back loop, and then I'm going to knit the last 2 stitches. There we go. This is Mabel knitted in the Yarn Collective Portland lace. It just took one skein, 100-gram skein, and it took just under 1,500 beads. You can, if you want to, just do the beads on the edging and not on the main body of the shawl, or you can do beads all over like I've done. I think it makes it a bit more special. So thank you for watching. My name is Anniken Alice, and you can find all my tutorials and everything about me, including my patterns and workshops, at www.yarnaddict.co.uk. Thank you for watching.